All right. Well, it's 6:05, so let's get started. Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. My name is Craig Jones. I am the project manager with the district for the Advanced Meter Project. And I do have a panel member with me here tonight, Ali Barsamian with WaterSmart. And so she will be co-host with me tonight. And as I share my screen, I do want to take care of a few housekeeping items before we start the presentation. So again, welcome. The one thing, thank you again for indulging us on the poll. It looks like a lot of you have not had your meter installed, and that's good information. We are so glad that you are with us tonight. Obviously, for those of you that are familiar with the chat option, we're going to go ahead and encourage you to use that chat option. And we will, the way we're going to do this tonight is I'm just going to open us up and give you just a very brief overview of what the project is and why. And then I'm going to turn it over to Ali, and we're going to really dig in to the meat of why we invited you here tonight to go through the WaterSmart portal and really highlight some of the key things to really get you guys started. And then obviously we want to leave time for you guys to answer your questions and to capture them. I do want to caveat, if you have a question tonight specifically on an individual bill or account, we're going to take that question, but we might, we're going to go ahead and probably take it offline, and we will point you to the right people. So feel free to share it, but just understand that we want to maintain a focus tonight on WaterSmart. And so again, we encourage all of your questions, and again, we're grateful for you to be here. And then, you know, as advertised, we do have prizes. So we will be randomly drawing prizes after this, and we'll be reaching out to you individually. So again, hopefully everyone can hear me and see me. Again, Craig Jones with the district, happy to be with you tonight. So the Advanced Meter Project. The district has, let's get started. The district has assembled an amazing team. The replacement of roughly 21,000 meters across the service area of the district is a huge undertaking. And as you know, infrastructure is a huge deal in terms of aged infrastructure. So the district has put a huge priority, as you can see here in this particular slide, of the team that they've assembled to really accomplish this and do it well. Quickly, project timeline. The green highlights really where we've been. So there was multiple phases implemented to really dial in and the processes. And as you can see now, we are in what I refer to as full deployment. So we're approaching that halfway mark of roughly 21,000 meters. And we are on schedule to close this summer. So let's talk about the Advanced Meter Project and really what and the why. Why is the district doing this? And you know, the simple answer is it gives us the ability to modernize our metering system. And what that does is equips the district to manage its precious resource more carefully. And also, really what we're here to talk about tonight, and Ali's going to really expand on this, is it's really passing the baton to the customer as well. It's no longer information is centralized or hidden at the local utility. The customer now has full access to everything we have now, which is leak detection, the high use notifications. And again, we're going to go into some of these things, how to make sure that you are actively engaged in this new tool. Really quickly, this is just a look at the district service area. And all the green areas shaded are roughly completed and metered installed. So the yellow areas are yet to be installed. So as I saw on the poll, many of you are here tonight, you have not had your meter installed. And again, super grateful, because it's not, as you're going to hear tonight, you can get registered and get in And we'll talk about the nuances, between those who have their meter and don't. Again, for those of you that have not, I just wanted to touch on this. In other words, what to expect when the meter installation takes place. You will receive a postcard mailer in the mail 3 to 4 weeks in advance of the installation process. They will provide a courtesy knock. You do not have to be home for this to take place, for the exchange to take place. And it's really a 20-minute or less, your water will be shut off. And then when it is complete, we will leave a door hanger with that, letting you know that we were there, and then providing you that key information for the WaterSmart portal. And just a quick example of these are the actual collateral pieces that you should expect to receive in the mail. On the left here would be the postcard mailer, giving you details of what to expect. And again, even just details like if for some reason you would prefer to schedule that exchange, you can call the number there. And then these are one of 2 door hangers that you may receive. The one on the right here would just be if for some reason we could not access your meter. And so with that, I'm pleased to turn this portion of the presentation over to Allie with WaterSmart. So with that, Allie, take it away.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Craig. It is such a thrill for me to get to be here today and introduce you all to your WaterSmart portal. WaterSmart is available to you all on any internet connected device. So you can log in from your cell phones, from your laptops, from tablets, anything that you can connect to the internet with. I do want to caveat before I hop into our demonstration today that what I'll be showing you is demo data. So we are not looking at any personal information or real data. So one thing to be aware of is that when you log in, you may see a slightly different view of your portal home screen. Don't be alarmed. That means you're in your personalized LVMWD portal. So that is, you're still in the right place. Registering for WaterSmart is easy. So I'm going to hop into my registration process. All you will need to be able to register for your portal is your customer number, which is going to be your customer number hyphen your account number, and then your zip code. So I'm going to go through this process. I have my registration number followed by my zip code. I'm then going to hit my Find My Account button, where the system will then have me do this again because I was here too long. It will confirm that this is actually my account. If you see the right address for your account, just go ahead and hit that email address button. And then what you can do there is type in your email address followed by a password and agree to the terms and privacy policy and hit Take Me to My Account. This will then knock you into your customer portal. From the customer portal home screen, you will see a whole bunch of information. This is, of course, happening to me now. Oh, nuts. Let's just say log in. And this will not happen to you all as you actually go in. Great, so I'm into my portal. From this portal, you will be able to see a whole wealth of information around your water use, get recommended actions to be able to better manage your water use and your bill as a whole, see alerts and events from your utility, and all of that great information. As I mentioned, this may look a little different from what your live portal might look like once you log in. So the order of tiles may be different. Again, don't be alarmed. This is simply our demo instance. So it is not exactly what you will see upon logging in. Also, I should note that if you ever forget your password at any point, don't fret. From that login page, you can always hit the forgot password and you'll receive an email with instructions on how to reset your password. As a first step from within your portal, one of the things I always recommend is updating your communication preferences so that you are sure to receive all of your alerts and notifications from the district in a timely manner. To do so, hit on the settings button in your top line nav bar and then go to communication preferences. On this page, you'll be able to adjust your preferred communication methods for a wealth of notifications. You'll see that you can enroll in text, voice, or email types of alerts for leaks, for high use notifications, for bill forecast notifications, and many more. A bit about what this looks like. Leak alerts are going to be automated alerts based off of usage patterns that are suspected to be potential leaks. We can't confirm that they are an actual leak, so we recommend when you receive these alerts to go through our leak resolution flow, which I'll walk through in a little bit. High use notifications are going to be set based off of your preference. This is a great way for you to gain ownership and management over your water use and your bill. So you can adjust however much you'd like to be notified when your bill exceeds a certain amount of your typical use. Additionally, you can also set this based off a dollar amount, meaning I may base it if instead I want to know if my bill is on track to be $100 more than my typical amount. And let's say I want to receive a text message as well. The last one I'll talk about is your unplanned use notifications. These are a really great tool if you're planning to go on a vacation or be away from your home for a period of time. This will show you between a set period of dates if your water use exceeds any daily threshold. We know that this can be really valuable for those extended vacations so that if you do get an alert, you can send someone over to check on your property. The last thing to note is your Utility Connect enrollment, as well as your urgent notices and service alerts. These are going to be the ways that the district is going to get in touch with you about unplanned service interruptions, or any other sorts of important, relevant messages. So I always encourage people to enroll in these so that you never miss a note from the district. Additionally, from this page, you can also add additional users to your account. This is a great way if you want to include tenants, landscapers, or family members. You can do so easily at any time. All you have to do is hit that My Account button from Account Settings, and it will drop you into this page. From this Additional Users section, you can hit Add User and set the role that user plays on your account. This is a great way for you to add those people that you'd like to have insight into your water usage and the information available in your portal. You can also easily delete these people at any time should you want to revoke that access to your portal. We also know that your contact information does change, and so having this page here allows you the opportunity to update your email address, your phone numbers at any time so that we can be sure to contact you through the right channels. Additionally, the portal is a great place to gain insights into your water use, which has been further enhanced by LVMWD's investment in AMI. So if you head over to your Track tab of your portal, you'll be able to see a wealth of information around your water use. One thing I do want to note, I saw some people are unsure if they have a smart meter or not. One way to really quickly be able to tell from your portal is that if you have your smart meter, you will see your usage in an hourly interval. For any of you that do not have an AMI meter, your track usage chart will look more similar to this with the dark blue and gray chart. Just a quick way to know right away. You can adjust this view of your usage to be a daily view looking at each hour your usage, your week view, a period of 2 weeks, or even any custom amount. I particularly love using the sliding bar to see how my usage has changed over time. The orange bars on this chart are showing you what the system is suspecting as a possible leak on your property. You can view additional information about your leak from the leaks tab of this chart, which I'll go to in just a moment. If you happen to see a number of gray bars on this track usage chart, that likely means something is interfering with your meter. Check to make sure a car or other object is not obscuring your meter lid. And if there happens to be an overgrown bush or otherwise, we encourage you to contact the district for assistance. On the overview chart, you can also see how your usage may be comparing to other households. This is important to know if you're looking for ways to be able to conserve or manage your use in times of drought. Additionally, you can see how your use compares during the season in comparison to precipitation or temperature on this chart. We also encourage you to update your household profile that lets us know how many people are in your home, confirms the number of toilets, any high efficiency appliances, etc., so that we can give you accurate information in your portal. Even before registering for the portal, you may find that you could receive an email leak alert. This is an example of what that leak alert may look like in your email inbox. It's important to stress that this is a suspected leak and not a confirmed leak. We don't know this for sure, but the data that we're seeing in your water use tells us that there is a chance of a potential leak on your property. I encourage that if you receive this notice via email or otherwise, that you hit the investigate possible leak button to be sent into our leak resolution flow. From this flow, which you can enter through your email or from the homepage of the portal at any time, you will be taken through steps of how to check for leaks on your property. Just hit this start checking for leaks button and you will immediately be entered into a series of steps and videos that will show you how you can look for leaks in your property. You can go to these videos or go to some of the external links to get additional information. We walk you through the likely drivers of a potential leak, which you can continue to go through as you check for that suspected leak on your property. If you determine that it's actually not a leak, what you can do is report that information back to us. So potentially you have a pool filling or otherwise happening, or I've heard about, significant others leaving a hose running in the backyard for many hours on end. Just hit that not a leak button and you'll be able to give us the information of what's going on there. It's important that we receive that information back so that we can make sure to continue to give you relevant and accurate alerts long into the future. As I mentioned, that leak alert is also something you can access from the homepage of your portal. You'll want to find your I want to cube on your homepage, which I believe for the district is actually your very first one. And then you'll be able to see in that I want to a check if I have a leak button. By clicking here, you'll enter into that leak resolution flow directly. Two other quick things I'd like to show you, and then we'll be able to open the floor to as many questions as you all may have. First and foremost is around your bill. So we know that most common questions or concerns from end customers is going to be centered around your bill. And so there's a really great tool within your customer portal called your bill explainer. So by hitting the billing tab and dropping down to evaluate bill, you'll be driven to a page on your customer portal where we can give you insight into what we see are the likely drivers of your total bill amount. All you have to do is hit this concerned about your bill, and you'll be entered into a flow that is based off of your unique data for that billing period and what we believe the likely drivers are for your total bill amount. This likely will give you explanations as to why your bill may be higher than it typically is at this time of year. You can walk through these by going simply through the steps, very similar to your leak resolution flow, and see how things may have adjusted in this billing period and affected your total bill amount. I also recommend, if you are very conscious of how much your bill is trending towards, to go back to that communications preferences page and enrolling in those bill forecast alerts. It's a great way to keep an eye on how your bill is trending based off of your hourly usage, which is also shown here on your bill forecast chart. The last thing I'd like to walk you through today is our take action page. We know where we all live is prone to drought, and water is an incredibly precious resource and one that we should manage appropriately. And so within your portal, you'll also be receiving recommended personalized actions for how you can better manage your bill and your water use at any given time. These actions are based off of that information, which you can provide in the household profile, which you can always access from the footer of your portal or from that track tab where the pie chart was. Here you can see specific actions, which I can click on to learn additional information about and how I can take these actions on my property. If you would like to report back to the district that you have taken some action, all you have to do is hit this "I completed this" button, which will let the district know that you have taken this action on your property. That's helpful as they look at potential programs and projects that they might provide to the community. The very last thing I'll note is if you're ever looking to get in contact with your utility, there is a contact us button over here, which will launch a form where you can submit a note that will be sent via email, or you can access the contact information to Las Virgenes directly so that you can make a call and get in touch with their customer service department. I am so excited for you all to get into this portal, and I recommend getting in, getting set up, and adjusting your contact information now in advance of your smart meter or once you have already received that smart meter. There's so much valuable content here, and we hope you really enjoy all that you can receive through this online portal. And with that, I will stop and open the floor to any questions we might have. And I can look over at my question panel.
Yeah, Ali, I was just going to jump in and say that there's a good question about the seasonal rainfall and what that's based on, and maybe you can expand that to some of those other customer profile data points.
Yeah, absolutely. So great question. The weather we get from World Weather online and is based off of your zip code. So that is where we will receive all of the information on temperature and precipitation. The information in the household profile that looks at your square footage, potential number of bedrooms, is all based on county assessors data. So the publicly available data around your homes and properties through the county assessor is where we get those estimations. But again, I do really encourage you to come into your household profile at any time to be able to better update that information so that we have it accurate in the system.
Okay, I'm going to start going through the attendees who have their hands raised, and we're going to start with Geraldine Caruso. I'm going to go ahead and allow you to talk, and you should be able to unmute and ask your question.
I got my question answered, and so the answer to your poll question is no. I don't have the new meter installed.
All right, Geraldine. Well, thank you so much for attending. I'm going to go ahead and move along then.
Okay.
All right, Tiong Lim, if you still had your question, you can go ahead and unmute and ask it.
Sorry, I don't have a question. Thank you, though.
Oh,
Excellent
no problem.
presentation.
Thank you for attending. All right, Betsy Sleeper, if you want to unmute, you can go ahead and ask your
Okay.
question.
Well, I typed in a question that's a quick one, but I had a different one as well. I know we're billed based on that 3 tiers of usage, or is that electricity? But I didn't know if I know there was going to be penalties put in for a higher usage, but is there any difference in how we're charged based on time of day?
I can answer that. In other words, we don't, to my knowledge, we don't charge, based on electrical demand. I think
Okay.
that's the question you're asking.
Right. And my other question is, this is a second home for me, so I'm in and out of town. I happened to be in town sitting outside last summer when all of a sudden my sprinklers, which are on they're internet connected, the last thing did not shut off. It was supposed to go for 10 minutes. And at some point I'm like, why is this not turned off? It was a bad valve. But I said to myself, thank God I was here. What if I weren't? Now I have a family member nearby who will come and check on my property, but how quick is there a notification that something like that, for example, is going on?
That is a great question. So there's a couple things, Betsy, that I would recommend. If you hit on your communication preferences in your portal, if you know you're going to be away from the home and there should be 0 usage for a period of time.
Well, it wouldn't be 0 usage because the sprinklers will go on and off, but.
Okay. So you could set a low daily threshold to make sure that that's within typical or expected use from your irrigation system.
Okay.
Otherwise, it will be based off of a long duration or burst leak that is suspected in your hourly usage, which takes approximately, well, Craig or Lauren, I don't know your leak parameters specifically for LVMWD. I don't know what you have those set for.
Well, here's what I can say. Yeah, I would definitely say to, again, to your point, and one kind of alternate option is, did you say you had a smart controller now?
Yeah, I have a ratio.
A ratio. Okay.
Ratio, yeah, however you pronounce it.
Yes. And so good, bad, or ugly, it will give you an audit trail, right? So, but yes, the fact that your valve stuck and it kept running. But the good news is that once that cycles and finishes, it does say, okay, we just watered for, X time. And to Allie's point, you would have to do a little math, but once you get in here and know your somewhat normal pattern and your daily gallons per day, you could just, set it slightly above that threshold just to get an alert. Does that make sense?
How quickly would it alert me? Because would it take an hour, or because that's a lot of water?
Well, for the unplanned use, I believe it would be, fairly instantaneous. In other words, just, minus the time it takes you to receive the text or the email.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you're saying it will automatically send me some kind of an alert.
So if you check text message, it's going to send you a text.
Okay.
And it's going to say, we are detecting unplanned use over that threshold that you set. So
Okay.
it may not give you finite information, in terms of how many gallons, but you will be able to go back and, visually see that hour. You can go back to the day and the time on the track component and literally be able to go,
Mhm.
aha, there it is.
Well, my concern is it literally would not have stopped.
Right. But at least
I-
you could call a neighbor, right?
Well, yeah, I think I'd get a call from the neighbor before I'd hear from you all.
Right. And that is absolutely true. But yeah, as Ali's brought this up, you can see, I mean, naturally, you're going to see the two components where it's showing normal use and that orange indicates a possible leak.
Mhm.
And it's going to give you some empirical data with that.
I'm assuming that bar would be a very short blue part and a much bigger orange.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, thank you very much. And by the way, thank you for running this.
Great question, Betsy. Thanks for attending.
All right, Catherine Devafir, I apologize if I did not pronounce your last name right. If you wanted to unmute and go ahead and ask your question.
Yes, is this also for commercial office buildings and commercial properties?
Yes.
Absolutely. Any account will have access to your portal. And in fact, if you manage multiple properties in the district, what you can do is have all of your accounts noted together. So if you register with the same email address for all accounts, they'll automatically all get bucketed together. Or you can add an account manually based off of your account number and your zip code for that account to your portal. So you can see it all in one place.
Aha. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And can we use, because I guess I'm just not entirely clear, can we use a separate account for each property?
Yes.
So that in the event that it changes hands, if we sell a property or we don't no longer have it, so that we can just separate that out easily.
Yes, absolutely. And I would assume, Craig, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you stop service to a singular account, that account will get a new account number for the future customer assigned to it. And so it'll automatically become an inactive account on your portal. So you won't have continued insight into a future owner's usage, nor will they have insight into your previous usage.
Okay.
Correct.
Is there still a human being we could talk to if we have questions that are just not easily answered on the portal?
Absolutely. Yes. I mean, we're here for the district. We're here at your service. So by all means, contact the customer service department and we will make sure that your questions are asked. We're here to serve.
And so if we get because some of our properties we don't have offices on the management office is not on on all of our properties, and none of them actually. If you do change out to a smart meter, how will we know that it's been changed? Because you can't put it on our door because there's no door to put it on, a little hanger.
Well, and that's so we do on the front end send a mailer. So it would be, resident billing address. So yeah, in some instances, you're right. That can be challenging. So if you know and you want to call customer service and just whatever you can do to update your information, it's in our billing system. That's huge. And even just your email, because through the portal, that's our easiest way. If we have a current email, you're going to get, you're going to have, we're constantly going to be sending out, like this, in other words, not sure how you found out about this, but I'm assuming you found out through the portal in one of your accounts. But yes, if you can call in and update us accordingly, we can definitely update the account information and make sure that we overcome those obstacles.
Yeah, I got an email from
Okay.
the district.
Awesome. One last thing I'll add, Catherine, for those multiple properties, when you're registering for the zip code, just make sure you use your service address zip code for each individual account and not your mailing address. Should that be different, or your billing address, always use that service address zip code when registering. That's how you'll be sure to get the account that you own.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Debasish, if you want to unmute, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah, if you could repeat how to log on from scratch. I didn't quite follow right in the beginning when you went through it. Would it be possible just to repeat?
Yeah, absolutely. So what you'll need is your customer number and your zip code for your account. So I believe with the district, that is your customer account number dash customer number dash account number, which is what you'll fill into this first line. You'll then enter in your zip code, which let me put in a basic one, and you'll hit this Find My Account button. From here, it will confirm the address of the account. So you'll want to make sure, yes, this is me. And then you'll hit your email address button, which is where, pretend this is not here, you'll enter in an email address that you'd like associated with your account and a password, which you'll use to access your secure portal. And then just hit Take Me to My Account, and that will get you registered and into your secure personalized customer portal.
Okay. Now, I do have a LVMWD portal access from way back. Is this a new separate access then?
Yes. And I was going to mention that it would, if you, just even to get to this screen, if you go to lvmwd.watersmart.com, it'll take you right in to this screen.
Great. Thank
Yes,
you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for your question.
All right, John Kassir, I'm going to go ahead and allow you to talk. And if you want to unmute and ask your question.
Thanks. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You moved into a new property, middle of the summer, June, in Agora Hills here. It's got a huge lawn. And of course I got my August bill was over $800. And I was just like, dope. And so I had you guys out and they checked 4 leaks. And at that time you offered to put in the smart meter, which was great to have that done at that time. Obviously, it's a huge difference. Changing, now my bills are, below 300, and I think these next ones will even be less because the water system is completely turned off. That's mostly where it was going. I still do see like certain days where it's just, like today, I think we used 45 gallons or, 71 gallons of water. And then on other days, there's, 400. And I'm sitting there going, why is that happening with the sprinkler system off? I guess even like typical things are 400 gallons, I guess isn't really that much if you're doing certain things in the house or maybe washings or something, washing machine. I'm not familiar, but it leads to my question. With such disparities in different months, I know that all my other utilities have the opportunity to have, level payment plans that help, not have, some outrageous months. Because obviously you're sitting there going, it says I was 61% over my budgeted amount, even though I knocked it down to 34% of what I was paying before. Or that kind of thing, and you're going, what is that based on? So I guess the questions have to do with how are they basing these budgets month to month, and the second question is there? I know that other people have asked in the past, is there any plan or is there a possibility to get on any kind of level payment plan?
Those are great questions, John, and I do appreciate that you're sharing the success that you've had. What I would like to do is I've taken your name. Is it possible for me or someone from the district to follow up with you on these questions on budget? I will say real briefly, And I think I jotted down the gist of your questions, but I think there's enough here that I'd like to take that one offline if you're okay with that.
Sure.
But I do want to just say, without having looked at your account, sounds like by even though you've shut off your irrigation, you can still have leaks, right? So just because the valves are closed doesn't mean something's not leaking. So I think that there might be more opportunity there in terms of digging into that. But when we do follow up with you, we'll take a greater look at what you're describing and see if we can drill down on that. Does that sound good?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I did have one of you guys out here and he did check, the meter and see if it was running while everything was turned off and didn't find any leaks. That doesn't mean there's not things that are wasting water while the irrigation system is on. Yeah, I guess I brought up the jumps that I'm still having on certain days because they don't look like they're that much compared to the thousands of gallons when you're using irrigating what essentially is an acre park on my property. I lived in Topanga for 31 years where everything was naturally watered and there was no, I think my highest water bill over a 2-month period was $210. And then you get 1 month bill for $850 and you're like, holy crap, what can I do? Excuse my language. But I guess, I have to do research a little bit to see if those little spikes are like the day my wife uses the washing machine or I use the washing machine or, that kind of thing. Because I'm going, why is that jumping there when all these other days are so low with the water system? Obviously, the irrigation uses a lot of water. But yeah, we did check for leaks in terms of when that system is turned off, and it's seems like it's from your field agent. It seems to have established that it doesn't look like there is any, but which was which was hard to hear because I'm going, oh my God, please be a leak. That's why the reason it was so high. Something I can fix, but that's how much water it took during August to keep things green. But I can certainly let things turn brown next year. But with things turned off and being able to bring the water bill down so much lower, it would be great to be able, I guess the main question is really, how are they basing the budget each month? It changes each month and they go, oh, you're over your budget, even though you've cut it down to a quarter of what you were using, you're still over your budget. And you're like, wow, how's that happening? I know that it has to do with the time of year, the amount of rainfall, all these different things, but it doesn't, all those different information doesn't really help me make adjustments, knowing how I'm supposed to, help that out other than to just cut back on water. And obviously the other question just has to do with whether we have the ability to have a level payment plan.
Great. So I've taken notes. Thank you for your question. And one final thing I'll add, and this is really for everybody. One of the things, once you have access to this, your daily, hourly consumption, it takes some time to get used to what you're looking at and to really see the pattern. So that part I appreciate. It takes some time to gain that knowledge specific to your property and to determine what is unusual versus usual. So you're not alone in that, kind of onboarding process, because again, we've never, for those of us who have never had hourly data, I mean, obviously it was just, we got a bill. So there is a component of educating ourselves on what to be alarmed about and what to be, okay, I know why that is. But I will follow up with you, Mr. Kasser, and thank you so much for your question.
All right, Carol, you're all set. If you want to ask your question, we've got about 11 minutes left. We're going to try to get through these as fast as we can.
Can I start?
Yes, go for it.
Okay, two quick, well, I don't know if they're quick. Two questions is one, I don't think I have a meter, so how do I find out when I'm going to get one? And is there, how are you rolling out the program? And how do we find out when we're due to get it?
Carol, great question. What initially we had a nice fancy map that included that on the website, but because of the, all the global shipping challenges that we face, things have changed. But what we can do is let me just give you my email and you can send me an email. All I need is your address and I can give you, I'm going to be discussing the latest schedule. So I'm happy to follow up with you and give you that answer. So can I just give you my email now? I think you're muted, Carol.
Okay, yeah, I would love to get your email, and then I have one other quick question.
Okay, so it's C as in Charlie, JONES, Jones at LVMWD.com.
Okay, the other question is, I got an outrageous bill, this last one. Can't identify any leaks by myself. I called the office and they really were very unhelpful. They said I would have to call a leak detection person. They didn't, you made it sound like you could send somebody out and help us try to figure out if there's a leak or not. The woman I talked to was very unhelpful. So is that something, a service you provide or not?
Absolutely. Yep, I'm duly noting that. And so send me that email and we'll follow up with you, okay?
That would be wonderful. I appreciate it. I'll send it tonight.
Thank you, Carol.
Joe McDermott, if you'd like to ask your question, you're all ready to go.
Yeah, hey, thanks, Stephen. A couple things, just full disclosure for folks that are on this webinar. I'm the Director of Engineering and External Affairs for Las Virgenes Municipal Water District. I just want to just point out that we do provide leak adjustments. So folks that are on this call, just be aware of that. If you do suspect a leak or a verified leak, we do provide adjustments for that. One thing I was hoping, Ali, if you could, if you do have this, if you're able to show a graph that so customers could see how their actual water usage is tracking with their budget. And so I don't know if you have that handy, but that's another useful thing for our customers to be aware of.
Absolutely. So this is demo. So this may not look exactly as it does with LVMWD, but you will have access to a chart of how your use, which is going to be the blue bar on this chart, compares to those goals or budgets that may be in place with the district. So in this case, what you're seeing is a reduction goal. This chart will look slightly different for a budget. But it will be on that track tab, just down a couple charts right underneath the weather-based chart.
Very good. The other thing I just, from the previous customers that were on the call, I do want to mention that we do actually offer payment plans as well. If you find yourself with an abnormally high bill, and unable to make that payment, we will just call our customer service number and you could arrange for a payment plan on that. So I just wanted to point that out. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
All right, Carol, if you would like to ask your question, you're all set to go.
Okay, my question was, in order to get to this portal, what do we have to do to get to this portal? Is it lvmwd.watersmart.com?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that how we get to it? Okay. How do we keep it there? In other words, do I have to do that every single time I want to get on it?
It's a great question. So depending on the device that you're accessing from, if you're—
I have an iPad.
Yeah, so you can bookmark the tab on your iPad. The other thing you can do, which I can send as a follow-up screenshot, is how to save it as an actual icon on the home page of your iPad or your mobile device like an iPhone. which will have it look like it's a regular app on your phone, but it's actually just a little square that you click, and then it'll go to your login page. For
You know what? I'd like that.
Yeah.
I'd like to do that. Yes.
I will share that with Craig and the team, and we'll make sure that everyone has access to that visual so you know how to do that.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great question, Carol. And we will be, for those of you that have asked, I know this recording will be posted on the website, and we will include that that app for those of you also. That is a simple feature, so that you don't have to keep logging in accordingly.
All right, Bill, if you want to go ahead and ask your question.
Yes, our homeowners association covers about 12 acres. A good bit of it is landscaped. The landscaping, we have several meters and they all use reclaimed water. Is this available for that?
Yes, the short answer is yes. The reclaim meters are also being fully exchanged with smart and urban advanced meters.
Thank you.
All right, Patricia Matthews, if you'd like to ask your question, you go ahead and unmute. You're all set.
Yeah, thank you. When Allie was talking about the weather, I still wasn't clear. Is it the current weather precipitation that is going to be reflected on this chart, or the previous year?
On this chart, it is current year. So it is based off of, what is reported as weather in a backwards looking. So we don't put on weather predictions for the future, but it is based off of, what was yesterday, what was the month before that, etc.
Great. And I had already registered for this because I have the meter and I've been getting notifications, which is great. But when I was just at the Water District website, I went in to see my bill and it doesn't seem to connect to this. Are these two completely different apps, so to speak?
Yes. Yeah, the WaterSmart portal, InfoSend and your billing, paying your bill are separate.
Will they be connected? Because it's silly to have to go to two places to me.
That is a good question. I can follow up with you. I think in the foreseeable future, the answer is no. But I will follow up with you, Patricia, on that, or unless Joe, you know the answer.
Joe's not here anymore.
Well, thank you for the follow-up either way.
Say that again, Joe, a little louder.
Yeah, so our goal when we took on WaterSmart was to have a single login and have everything accessible, through one login. That's still our goal. It's not as simple as you would think it should be, but we hope to eventually get there so that we're really aiming to try to make it as convenient for customers as possible. So we're not quite there yet, but I think we're going to try to work with the other vendor, InfoSend, and then also WaterSmart to make that happen.
Thank you, Joe.
Barbara, you're up. If you still have a question, you can go ahead and unmute.
Thank you. Couple of things. I found my customer and account numbers, and when I tried logging in, it told me that I didn't have an account with you, which doesn't make it sense. I just looked it all up on my bill because I'm on auto pay, which is very confusing. I'm not able to sign up for this. So it's a technical difficulty. If somebody can help me another day, I don't want to take your time. And also there was so much background noise when Craig was giving his email. Somebody had kind of interfered with the reception. So what I think I got was C. Jones at, it sounded like LVMWD, is that correct?
Yes,
.com?
ma'am. That was correct. You
Okay, good.
spot on.
Good
Yeah, feel
Lord.
free to reach out to me, Barbara, because we'll go and look at your account on our end and see what's going on so we can get you in.
Right, I have studiously lowered my water use. I mean, I don't shower daily now, and I cut back a lot of things and also have the ratio. But the last thing is you mentioned, Joe mentioned that there were adjustments made for leaks. I'm not sure what that translates to, but when I first moved in here 6 years ago, oh my God, I had a $400 water bill. I almost, or 800, I don't know, it was nuts. And I asked the lady about it. Maybe that's why you're doing this, because I didn't get any notice. I didn't know till I got the bill. They were broken pipes, which had to be fixed. But I was billed the whole thing, and that was devastating to my budget. So I'm glad you've made changes, because that was really problematic. Anyway, thank you for doing this in service. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Barbara.
Right, Stephanie, you're all set. If you want to go ahead and unmute and ask your question.
Hi, how's it going?
Hi.
So basically there was a situation where there was a huge water bill, over the top. And what would you say, where do you go for the notification for leaks? Is that under the tracking tab? And then I have something in addition to this question once you answer that one.
Yeah, so your leak alerts may come to you in an automated fashion to your email address directly, but also, yes, from the track tab, you can hit this leaks button and you will see a history of all of the suspected leaks on your property based off of your usage. And then, as I mentioned, either from that email alert, or of course now it's booting me out, from the homepage of your portal or from that email alert, you can go to the check if I have a leak button, and that'll automatically put you into that leak resolution flow. Once you click on that, it'll open up the tips and tricks of how to find a leak on your property.
Okay. And then how to add somebody, because I'm not the primary account holder, I would be somebody to be added on. So do they, I don't know which, you also mentioned we could add on users. So for me to have access to like any leak alerts, so to speak, with that to be sent to my email, we can do that. Or if I simply know the login info, I can log on to this website.
Yep, absolutely. So the automated alerts will go to the primary account holder's email address. So either they can set it up with your email address so that you're receiving those alerts directly, or yes, they can add you as a user, which will allow you to log in at any time and view the usage and view those suspected leaks from within your portal.
Okay. And then is this website LVMWD.com?
WaterSmart.com.
Yeah. Is that something that's new, or would they, I'm a personal assistant for this family, so would they already have this set up? You know what I mean? Like, are you just rolling out this website, or would they possibly already have the login for it? Is it brand new?
It is brand new, yes.
Okay,
So
great. So
I
it's-
don't want to assume that they have it. That's a great
Right.
question.
Okay, and then the other question I have is, how would we best repair, like say, because they did have a situation where they did get a huge bill, and then they had to spend like a lot of money getting somebody out here, but how would we best repair the leak? Or do you have somebody, like a specific company that you recommend? Or I also heard you say you send some people out. So how does that, what's the most efficient way to handle if we have a leak?
If you suspect a leak, I mean, the first step is going in and again, accessing the portal 100% and get a gain on what's happening. The district we will come out and assess, just understand that as a utility, our jurisdiction is technically just to the meter, but we'll come and do some things, that would help, again, specific to the meter. Let's look at the meter. We can obviously see if the meter is moving and water, things like that. So there are a lot of things we can do, and then we can't necessarily recommend, but we can give you a good starting point to move from, and we're happy to do that.
Okay. And what's the phone number if I wanted to have somebody? I already have your email. Thanks for clarifying. But if there's a phone number, for
If you
any of
want to
the,
just call our customer service number, and you're going to ask me that next, and I don't
Mhm.
have it memorized.
Okay.
But let me see, give me one second here.
Our customer service can be reached at area code 818
Yep.
251 2200 during normal business hours, which is 8 to 4:30,
Perfect.
I believe.
Great.
Excellent. Great question, Stephanie. Thank you.
Ella, do you have a question? If so, you can go ahead and unmute and ask it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move on then, as we're getting a little past our time. Brent Woodworth, go ahead if you'd like to ask a question. You're ready to go.
Great, thank you very much. I appreciate what you guys are doing, and the software looks good, but a question on your software, and this relates to something that Mr. McDermott talked about, was looking at usage versus budget. Something that would be helpful if it was a lot more granular, so that it showed that for each billing period in detail, and also included, which I don't see, as to when do you hit excessive usage. So at what point and how many gallons on a monthly basis, where's that crossover line, so that you're not suddenly surprised by some huge bill, even though you've dramatically reduced the amount of water that you're using. Because that information, I just don't see that there. And that's a real concern. I've got the same concerns that John Casper, I think, talked about, as far as what's your math in setting a budget? How do you guys do that? Where is that information? How do we get that information? What is an excess use level, and so forth? And those are pretty important things to know. I also I'm very much in favor of level payment plan kind of options, as that people use water at different varying levels month to month, and it financially makes it easier for folks if that was an option. So those are my questions, and any help you can give would be great.
Joe, did you want to tackle? I mean, I can speak to water budgets, but I'll give you the floor first, Joe.
I can if I'm unmuted.
You are
unmuted.
Okay, unmuted. Okay. First of all, I believe it's Brent. If you could email Craig Jones, cjones@lvmwd.com. I think we should probably talk to you offline about some of your specific concerns. There are some things that you mentioned, like when you reach excessive use, which would be 150% of your budget. I don't believe those are features that we have built into the software right now, but that's not to say that at some point, hopefully sooner rather than later, that we could integrate some of these things. So we'd like to pick your brain a little bit more and get some feedback from you, additional feedback, and help us improve things. It just reminds me, for everyone that's on this call, it is important to try to stay within your budget, obviously. And because we are in a stage 3 water shortage emergency, believe it or not, even though we've had a lot of great rain in December and snowpack in the Sierras in December, we still are in basically a drought situation because we do import water from the Northern Sierra. It is important to understand how you get a budget, the formula that goes into that. It's all based on how many people live in your home. It's based on your irrigated area, so the size of your property, how much area you have landscaped, and what gets irrigated, and some other factors. One of the biggest things is weather variation. So we do in the budget, we do take into consideration what the weather is doing. Specifically, we look at what's called the evapotranspiration. So that's basically if it's really hot out, like in the summer, the ETO or the evapotranspiration is high, and you get a bigger budget. If it's lower, like for instance in December, the evapotranspiration is a lot lower and your budget's a lot less. One thing that we run into all the time is we do get quite a few customers that either forget to adjust their irrigation systems down, and that's where they really get hit. So it's important to kind of, really kind of gauge what the weather is doing and adjust your irrigation accordingly. Most of the reason why customers go over budget is for that very reason, not adjusting their irrigation for the different weather conditions. And the water budgets are based largely on just that, the weather situation, what's going on, how dry it is, how hot it is. And so it's just, just a reminder to really pay close attention to that. And so I think we probably could speak to Brent offline and pick his brain a little bit more. And I think the 150% mark is important, because if you do exceed, that's when you go into excessive. So if you do exceed 150% of your budget for 3 months, now that we're in a stage 3 water shortage emergency, you do run the risk of the district having to take some other actions to ensure that doesn't continue to occur. So anyways, thank you. I think that's a great question. And I hope to speak to you some more offline.
Peggy, Jocelyn, if you want to go ahead and ask your question, you're unmuted. We've got a few more. We're going to try to power through these and hope we get everybody's questions answered. Also, if we don't get your question answered on the Q&A, we are capturing them and we will be following up with people who have asked questions on the Q&A. So Peggy, why don't you go ahead and ask your question?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I use the portal to log in, and I use Google and there's no problem. But when I use the Safari, it says the connection is not private. This website try to steal your personal or financial information. So can we only use Google Chrome?
You should be able to use any browser. My theory is that you may be operating on an old version of Safari, and it may not be noticed, but I can assure everyone that the portal is incredibly secure and all of your data is encrypted, and in line with California Privacy Act. You can all access information about your data and request information on your data from the home page of your portal or by hitting the personal information request button at the footer of your portal. But I can confirm based off of many third-party testing and many other things that your portal is secure and you're safe with your data.
Because I try so many times with the Safari and I update my computer almost every time when a new system comes out.
Yeah, I will certainly flag that with my engineering team and see if there's any issue on the back end.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Frank Hughes, if you want to go ahead and ask your question, you're all set. Frank, you're going to need to unmute. Frank Hughes going once, going twice. All right, Robin Hirsch, if you would like to unmute, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah, I just went on my account and I see all the graphs and all the blue lines and all that. Does that mean I'm hooked up? Because I never got a notification that we had a smart meter.
So if your track chart shows an hourly versus just an overview, that does mean you have your smart meter. If you're just seeing this chart with the gray and blue only, that means you're not on your smart meter yet.
Okay. all right, I'm seeing a bar graph, a daily bar graph with blue line for each day, and yeah, like that. That means I have my smart meters up and running.
That's right. Congrats.
Well, great. I mean, I don't remember getting a notification, but thank you for telling me.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for attending. All right, Kanwar, I'm going to go ahead and allow you to talk. You just need to unmute and you can ask your question.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So Stephen, during the last whole week, like when the heavy rainfall came and a lot of landslides happened in Calabasas, I know that you are aware of that. One side of my hill came down because of consistent rain for a week. So one pipe, which used to go to my backyard from a main, it broke. But because of the heavy rains, we couldn't go out, we couldn't check, we didn't know what's going on, right? And WaterSmart meter was not there before. So it ran for I don't know how many days. Maybe I'm assuming 1 day, 2 days. And when the rain stopped, after consistent raining, I went out, I saw a hole and my hill fell down on one side of the hill. And I switched off, the water was going like a waterfall down the hill. I switched off the main line and it stopped. So I knew something is broken, which I can't see because I can see only the hill mud. I called the guys, they dug it and they found that the main 1-inch pipeline was running. And it was broken actually because the hill sitting down and or whatever, sinking or something, landslide. What are the provisions for that in this case? Because a lot of my neighbors, they're also on hills. What kind of treatment can we get? Maybe some relief? I don't know how much water went because a 1-inch pipe, right? Broken during the heavy rains. It's kind of an outage kind of a thing, right? So it's a major leak. It's not a leak, it's a major leak. And I don't know what to expect from a monthly bill now.
Kanwar, I can just say, that definitely you may qualify for a leak adjustment. So it sounds like we responded, but I would encourage you to just reach out to customer service and call. And you don't have to wait until you get your bill unless you want to. But again, naturally, we see this, and that's why we have a leak adjustment provision. So if you qualify for that, we'll absolutely make that accommodation for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Stephen. Thank you. Because yeah, I have a big problem, like whole hill fell down kind of thing. The whole thing sank down. If the soil becomes heavy, it breaks pipes.
Yes.
So yeah, okay. I'll reach out to the customer care. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Right, Salil Sharma, you have the floor if you want to go ahead and unmute and ask your question.
Hi, wonderful presentation. I have a quick question. Many years ago, we had to fill out a survey how many people were living in the house. Now, is that what is being used to budget the water usage?
That is part of the collective water budget formula. So yes, that was one of the things that I was going to mention to the entire audience is, the factors.
The other thing is that our kids, in college, they come back home, and so the water usage increases during those periods. So is there something I can go in and adjust my budget?
Yes. Yes, you can adjust. You can adjust multiple times a year. So if your kids are coming home from college for the summer, you call in and just let them know what your situation is, and that adjustment will be made. Just keep in mind when you put in for more people living inside your house, you get your water budget goes up, which is helpful, but your sewage bill will actually be higher when you do that, because you have more people living in the house and contributing to the wastewater flows. So it's a little bit of a double-edged sword, but we try to make it where it's fair. So just be aware of that. Yeah, you can adjust your budget multiple times throughout the year.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And Salil, great question. I just want to highlight the key to that update is although you can make updates inside of WaterSmart, please note that if you want it to impact your budget, you must do it through customer service. and through that door, if that makes sense. So
Okay,
that is key. I wanted to make that distinction.
got it. Thank you.
Sir.
All right, Emily, you're up. Thank you for being patient with us.
Do we request the smart water meter? And if we do, is there a cost to us?
In other words, you don't have to request it. It is something that the district is implementing throughout the service area. Does that answer your question? So there's no charge to you.
Okay, can we request it or figure out if we're in the service area?
Oh, I see. So in other words, are you not sure if you pay a bill to Las Virgenes?
I do pay a bill to Las Virgenes, but I don't have the smart meter.
But you will get it. So and I think your next question is when, right? When to expect it?
I guess so.
Yeah. So if you want to send me an email, and then because really all I need is your address, and I can follow up with you and give you an idea of the span of a week or 2 weeks to expect it. But what I can say too is we're going to be installing the vast majority in the next 6 months. So to give you an earmark, bookmark, estimate, it'll be within 6 months, give or take.
Okay,
if
great.
not much sooner.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Emily.
All right, Karen, you're up. Karen Springer.
Sorry, hi there. So thank you for doing this. I just, for the very first time logged into my account, I actually had a question about logging in. I seem to have figured it out. But to get this smart meter or the advanced meter, we just wait for the postcard and then say yes or no, or how do we make sure it happens? You said we don't even have to be home.
No, there's nothing that, again, there's nothing you have to do. If you have an account with Las Virgenes, you will be getting a new meter if you have not already done so.
Oh, and they'll notify us when it's in?
Well, what will happen is you should receive a postcard mailer 3 to 4 weeks in advance, letting you know. And then once the meter is physically put in, we'll leave a door hanger. So that's really your secondary notification. We'll leave a door hanger letting you know that we were here, we installed your new meter, and you're ahead of the game because the door hanger also lets people know how to get into the portal.
Oh, okay. And then I live in a townhome, so I'm just thinking access. I don't even know where my water meter is. I just want to make sure they have access.
Yes, and we will, if for some reason we can't get access, you'll either get a second or we'll reach out to you. Our installers will call the number that's on the account. And if we can't, believe me, we'll track you down.
Okay, great. So I can assume everything's good unless you tell me. Okay.
That's right. Absolutely. Okay. Great question.
So Craig, Karen may or may not be sub-metered. I'm not sure what her situation is. The newer townhomes and developments probably have their own separate meter, but if there's a master meter, then it would be the association or whatever that oversees that account.
Correct.
Well, water bill. So when I have my own meter, do you think?
If you get a water bill directly from us that says that's from LVMWD, then that would be, yes, that would be the case. But if you're getting a separate bill, because I don't know, some associations have sub meters and they might bill you separately. And in that case, it wouldn't have our logo on that bill. So, but if you're getting a bill that has our logo on it, then you would, okay, then you would get a smart meter automatically.
Great. Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate this. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
All right. It looks like we have answered all of the live questions. Like I said, we're trying to work through and get as many of the typed in ones answered that we can. And anyone we don't get to, we will follow up with. And so I think we've got one more question from Dennis O'Connell, and I think we will go ahead and wrap this up. Dennis, it's your show.
Dennis, are you there? You have the floor, sir. For some reason, we're not able to hear you.
All right, Dennis, you can definitely reach out to us, Craig Jones at cjones@lvmwd.com, or give a customer service call and they can help route you. It looks like we may be having some technical difficulties. Without any other questions, I think that unless Ali or Craig have anything else they'd like to say, I think we will call it for the evening.
No, I would just like to thank everybody for attending. Great questions, really appreciate. And again, thank you for your patience as we go through this huge project. And we just apologize in advance. If you don't, for some reason, receive a postcard, but again, reach out to us. We're here. We want to equip you to be able to just own the water that is yours and know where it's going. And again, thanking Ali and WaterSmart for playing the huge role here tonight, and Stephen and Lauren and Joe. So again, thanks everyone so much. And again, all of this will be recorded. Stephen, one last question. I know there was a question about, will this be emailed, the recording? And so I think we're going to put it on the website, but you want to give clarity on, is that possible to send that size of a file via email?
I'm not going to send out the file, but what I can do is for all the attendees, we'll send out an email with a link. We're going to host it on our website. Large files tend to get caught up in spam filters and whatnot. So it'll be available tomorrow for anybody to review as they need to, if they have questions as they go through the registration process and whatnot. And also there will be contact information for Craig and customer service and whatnot, as well as additional information about the program. We're going to take Barbara. I'm going to squeeze you in. If you could please be brief.
Very brief. You all mentioned a reward or a prize. I'm wondering who won.
Great question. We're going to actually, we're going to do that offline. So we haven't done the formal random drawings yet, but great question. I'm glad that you're excited. And you'll just have to hang in suspense a little while longer.
Okay.
Hey, Craig.
Yes, sir.
Hey, for folks that have been listening in, I would just encourage them to spread the word, talk to their neighbors about this platform, WaterSmart, talk to them about the smart meters, and just to get the word out. We've made a pretty substantial investment in this meter switch out to the tune of about $10 million. And a lot of it is really to give customers the tools that they need to use water as efficiently as possible. And really, it will help, keep your water bill down. And so again, helping the customer. And we have a lot of mandates coming down from the state to conserve. And so, just again, I'd encourage customers that have been listening in to talk to their neighbors or friends that are in the service area, and encourage them to register for WaterSmart and to use that tool.
Agreed. Thank you, Joe. And with
All right,
that, go
everybody.
ahead. I'll let you close
Yeah,
it
it's
down.
7:30. I appreciate everybody for attending. We did our best to get through all your questions. We have about maybe 10 more typed questions we're going to deal with. If you have any questions, you can email cjones@lvmwd.com or me, SBAIRD@lvmwd.com, and we'll do our best to get you the information you need. And again, on behalf of the district and WaterSmart, we really appreciate everybody's interest and attending with us.
Fantastic. Thanks all so much. Have a great rest of your evening.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.